Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're discussing a serious and important topic, the signs of a declining country. Understanding the warning signs of a country in trouble is crucial for all of us. Let's get into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel and get notified when I release new videos. First up on our list of signs is political instability. This isn't about disagreeing with family members about politics at dinner. That's a common occurrence. We're talking about serious instability. Rapid changes in leadership can destabilize a country. This kind of chaos makes it nearly impossible to establish long-term goals or build a solid foundation for a thriving nation. Imagine trying to build a house on unstable ground. Rampant corruption is similar. It erodes trust in the government, leaving citizens feeling powerless and disillusioned. When people feel like their voices aren't being heard and that their leaders are in it for themselves, it leads to serious societal problems. This is something nobody wants. Now, you might be thinking, how do we actually measure something like trust in the government? It's not exactly like checking the weather app, but there are some clear indicators. Low voter turnout, widespread cynicism about political processes, and a feeling of disconnect between the people and those in power. These are all red flags. Not that I play golf. When trust in institutions crumbles, it creates a breeding ground for extremism, social unrest, and even violence. It's like a house of cards. You pull one out, and the whole thing risks collapsing. Political instability isn't just about politicians arguing on TV. It's a fundamental crack in the foundation of a nation, and something we need to pay serious attention to. Let's discuss the economy, or more specifically, the lack of financial stability. High unemployment is a significant concern. Without jobs, people can't support their families. And then there's inflation. Prices for everyday items are rising. Inflation reduces purchasing power. And then there's the national debt. We're talking trillions of dollars. High national debt can lead to higher taxes and reduced spending. Economic downturns have real-world consequences. Okay, so we've talked about governments and economies, but what about the people? You know, those folks who actually live in the country? Well, when a country's in trouble, they're usually the first to feel it. And how do they react? Not with calm discussions and peaceful resolutions. Think more along the lines of, well, protests. Lots and lots of protests. People taking to the streets to voice their frustrations, demanding change, and sometimes even calling for revolution. It's like a heated argument that escalates quickly. Except instead of minor disagreements, we're talking about potential social unrest. Not exactly the kind of environment you want to be caught in without a good escape route. And it's not just marching around with signs either. When things get really bad, people start hitting where it hurts, their wallets. Strikes, my friends, strikes. Essential workers refusing to work until conditions improve. Workplaces become disorganized and chaotic. Things grind to a halt. And then there's civil disobedience. People breaking the rules, defying the powers that be, basically saying they are done playing by the rules because the rules are unjust. It's a slippery slope, sure, but when a country's in decline, sometimes the people feel like they have nothing left to lose. And that, my friends, can be a recipe for some seriously chaotic times. Alright, let's talk about education. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of education you get at a prestigious university. We're talking about basic education, the foundation, the ABCs, the 1 + 1 = 2 kind of stuff. Because when a country's education system starts to crumble, well, that's like forgetting how to build a strong foundation. And what happens when the foundation crumbles? The whole structure goes with it. Low literacy rates, poor academic performance. These are all signs that the education system is struggling to keep up. It's like trying to teach a room full of toddlers how to do advanced mathematics. You might get a few moments of focus, but you're not going to get any mathematicians out of it. And the thing about a failing education system is that it doesn't just affect the kids in school right now. It creates a ripple effect that can be felt for generations. Think about it. Without a good education, people are less likely to get good jobs, contribute to society, or even just think critically about the world around them. It's like trying to win a game of trivia without any knowledge. Not gonna happen, right? A decline in education is a decline in opportunity. It's a decline in innovation, in progress, and ultimately, in the future of the country itself. Not exactly the kind of legacy anyone wants to leave behind. Okay, let's talk healthcare. I'm talking about real healthcare. The kind that keeps people healthy, happy, and most importantly, not dead. Now, when a country's healthcare system starts to deteriorate, it's like neglecting a minor issue until it becomes a major problem. Not pretty. We're talking about long wait times, limited access to doctors and medicine, and people having to choose between putting food on the table and getting the medical attention they desperately need. It's a lose-lose situation. And let's not even get started on the emotional toll it takes on people. The stress, the anxiety, the feeling of being completely helpless. It's enough to make anyone feel overwhelmed. And here's the thing about a healthcare crisis. It doesn't just affect the people who are already sick. It affects everyone. When people can't afford to go to the doctor, minor illnesses turn into major problems. Productivity plummets. Workplaces become breeding grounds for contagious diseases. And suddenly, the entire country is running on fumes. It's like trying to run a marathon with a sprained ankle. You might be able to hobble along for a little while, but eventually, you're going to collapse from exhaustion. And nobody wants that, especially not when there's a perfectly good finish line in sight. A healthy population is a productive population. It's a happy population. It's a population that can actually enjoy all the other things a country has to offer. Okay, so we've talked about politics, the economy, education, healthcare. It's a serious list of issues, isn't it? But it's not just our systems that can show a country is struggling. It's also the actual earth beneath our feet. We're talking about the environment. Trees, rivers, wildlife, the entire ecosystem. A country in decline often doesn't prioritize protecting these things. Pollution starts choking the air. Forests disappear rapidly, and suddenly the country's environment deteriorates significantly. And nobody wants that. The consequences are severe and far-reaching. A healthy environment is essential for a healthy country. When a country's in decline, environmental regulations often get ignored. This paves the way for industries to pollute extensively. We're talking polluted air, contaminated water, and excessive waste. And let's not forget about deforestation. Cutting down trees without replanting leads to severe environmental consequences. We need those trees. They clean the air, provide habitats for wildlife, and help regulate the climate. So environmental degradation is a critical issue. Okay, let's talk about safety. You know, that feeling you get when you can walk down the street without clutching your phone tightly? Well, in a country on the decline, that feeling? It becomes increasingly rare. Because here's the deal. When a country's struggling, crime rates often rise significantly. We're talking everything from petty theft to, unfortunately, much more serious offenses. And nobody wants to live in a place where they're constantly looking over their shoulder, right? It's stressful. It's distracting. It's just not safe. Now, there are a bunch of reasons why crime might increase when a country's struggling. Think of it like this. Imagine you're playing a game of Jenga, right? And each block represents something important, like the economy, education, or, I don't know, access to affordable health care. Now, start pulling those blocks away. What happens? The whole tower gets shaky, right? It becomes unstable. And eventually, it collapses. It all comes crashing down. That's kind of what happens with crime in a declining country. When people are struggling to make ends meet, when they feel hopeless, when they feel like the system has failed them, well, sometimes they resort to desperate measures. And that's something we need to pay attention to. All right, folks, let's talk infrastructure. It's not the most exciting topic, but it's crucial. Infrastructure is like the backbone of a country, essential for its functioning. A country's infrastructure holds everything together. roads, bridges, airports, public transportation, and when that infrastructure starts to deteriorate, the entire country begins to feel the impact. Consider the potholes that damage vehicles and bridges that are no longer stable. Not exactly reassuring, right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, so the roads are a little rough. What's the big deal? Well, a crumbling infrastructure is often a sign of much deeper issues. It's like that stain on your ceiling. You could just paint over it, but it's probably a sign that something's leaking, and ignoring it won't make it go away. The same goes for infrastructure. When a country isn't investing in maintaining and improving its roads, bridges, and public transportation, it's often a sign that other essential services are also being neglected. Think about it. Education, healthcare, social programs, they all rely on a solid foundation. And when that foundation crumbles, everything else starts to fall apart too. And that's not a future any of us wants to see. Alright, so we've talked about a lot of concerning signs, but this next one is particularly serious. It's called brain drain. Picture this. You're a highly skilled scientist, doctor, or engineer at the top of your field, but the opportunities in your country are limited. You seek cutting-edge research and groundbreaking projects. So, you pack your bags and move to another country. When a country starts losing its brightest minds, it's like losing all the best players before an important game. This is brain drain in action. It's a sign that something needs to change. The home country needs to improve its conditions to retain its star professionals. Countries need all the brain power they can get to solve complex problems. Losing a few talented individuals is one thing, but a mass exodus is a much more severe issue. All those potential breakthroughs, lost. The country loses out on its best and brightest, which makes it harder to improve conditions. Even more talented people leave. It's like trying to fill a leaking bucket. Until the leak is fixed, the problem persists. So, what can be done about this brain drain issue? Well, that's a topic for another video. Creating opportunities, fostering innovation, and valuing talents. The world needs all the brain power it can get, no matter where it comes from. The concept of a melting pot is familiar to many. It represents the idea that different cultures come together, blend, and create something new. Diversity brings new flavors, new ideas, and new perspectives. It enriches our experiences and broadens our understanding. But what happens when the flavors become so blended that the individual ingredients are no longer distinguishable? This is the risk of losing cultural identity. It's akin to erasing the vibrant colors from a beautiful tapestry. Consider the traditions passed down through generations, the languages that connect us to our ancestors, and the stories that shape our understanding of the world. When these elements begin to fade, something valuable is lost. It's about finding a balance between preserving your own heritage while appreciating others. Each country has something unique to offer, a story to tell. Let us celebrate our differences and embrace the beauty of diversity. Today, we covered a lot of important topics. From political instability to brain drain, we examined some of the warning signs that a country might be heading in the wrong direction. These issues are significant and complex. Addressing them requires careful consideration and action. Awareness is the first step. By understanding the challenges and recognizing the signs, we empower ourselves to make informed decisions and demand better from our leaders. Remember, a country's fate isn't set in stone. It's a work in progress, a constant evolution shaped by the actions and choices of its people. So let's stay engaged, let's stay informed, and let's work together to build a brighter future for everyone. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts on all this. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.